Hello everyone, and welcome to this pencil sketching tutorial by CraftXO. Craft Wow! Today, we're going to create a beautiful and imaginative drawing of an eye with a serene landscape featuring trees and birds inside the iris. You'll need a pencil, an eraser, and a sheet of paper. Let's get started. Before we start, please subscribe our channel to keep learning from our easy tutorials like this one. First, let's begin by sketching the basic shape of the eye. We're aiming for an almond-like shape, which is typical for most eyes. Hold your pencil lightly and start by drawing a gentle, curved line for the top of the eye. Then, draw a matching curved line for the bottom, making sure the ends taper into points where the eye would naturally open and close. Don't press too hard, we want these lines to be light so we can adjust them later if needed. Now that we have the basic shape, outside the initial shape, draw a second set of curved lines that follow the same path but are slightly closer together. This will create the illusion of thickness for the eyelids. For the upper eyelid, make the line a bit thicker in the middle to suggest the natural fold of skin. For the lower lid, keep the line softer and thinner. This step is all about adding structure, so be patient and use gentle strokes. If your lines aren't perfect, don't worry, we'll refine them as we go. Next, let's add the upper eyelashes to bring the eye to life. Start at the inner edge of the upper eyelid and use short, light strokes to draw the lashes. Vary the length and direction of each lash to make them look natural. Some should be longer, others shorter, and they should fan out slightly. Hold your pencil at a slight angle to create fine, hair-like lines. Don't rush this step. Eyelashes can really define the eye, so take your time to make them look realistic. If you make a mistake, you can always use your eraser to clean up. Now, let's move on to the lower eyelashes. These are usually shorter and sparser than the upper lashes, so use even lighter strokes here. Start from the outer edge of the lower lid and draw small, delicate lines that curve downward. Keep the lashes more spaced out compared to the upper ones, and make them slightly thinner as you move toward the inner corner. This contrast between the upper and lower lashes helps create a balanced, realistic look. Once you're done, step back and check the symmetry of the eye. If anything looks off, you can adjust the shape or lashes now. With the eyelids and lashes in place, let's start working on the iris, the colored part of the eye. Begin by drawing a circle in the center of the eye, making sure it's slightly overlapped by the upper and lower eyelids. This circle doesn't need to be perfect, as the eyelids will hide parts of it. Let's add more detail to the iris. Start by darkening the pupil with your pencil. Fill it in completely so it's nice and bold. Around the pupil, begin adding texture to the iris by drawing light, radiating lines that extend outward toward the edge of the iris. These lines mimic the natural patterns in a real eye, so keep them uneven and organic. Use a light touch and vary the pressure on your pencil to create a sense of depth. Once you've added the lines, softly shade the iris, making it darker near the pupil and lighter as you move outward. This gradient effect will make the eye look more three-dimensional. Now, grab your eraser and gently dab the upper section of the iris to create a highlight. This will give the eye a glossy, lifelike effect. Be careful not to erase too much. We just want a small, soft spot to suggest light reflection. Now for the creative part. We're going to draw a landscape inside the iris to give this sketch a unique twist. Draw a few small V-shapes to represent birds flying in the sky. These elements should be subtle, as we don't want to overpower the eye itself. Use very light strokes so you can adjust later. Now add small, triangular shapes to represent trees inside the shape of eye. Keep them simple for now, just tiny peaks to suggest a forest. As you go, draw taller, more defined trees with jagged, irregular shapes to suggest branches and foliage. Vary the height and thickness of the trees to create a natural, forested look. Don't overdo the shading here. We want the landscape to blend into the iris, not dominate it. Continue adding landscape on the upper eyelid. Keep your lines soft and wispy to maintain the dreamy effect. If any lines look too harsh, you can use your eraser to soften them. We're almost done. Let's add the finishing touches to bring everything together. Revisit the landscape and darken the trees and birds just a bit to make them pop, but keep the shading subtle so the iris remains the focal point. Finally, sign your artwork. You can add your own signature wherever you like. Step back and admire your work. You've just created a stunning eye with a magical landscape inside. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and feel inspired to try more creative sketches. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Happy sketching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.